Welcome back to Season 7 of Three and a Half Gentlemen, the podcast, where three of the four hosts provide a refined and intellectual analysis of movies from our private collections and TV shows. Well, one of us tries desperately to keep up. We'll let you decide which host is which, but for now, my name is Sean, and with me, as always, are my fellow cursed partygoers wearing ridiculous hats, Jeremiah.
This is the rhythm of the night. Whoa. Oh, yeah. Whoa. This is a rhythm of the night.
You can file that with deal with the fuck it later.
That's it.
That's it. You got it. And Brandon.
I hid under the bed.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm not even getting I'm not gonna get there, but yes.
We're gonna go there.
Something bad happened at the party. It went wrong. Something bad happened at the party. It went wrong.
Well, I hid under the bed.
As with every review we give, our goal is to answer one simple question. How many drinks does it take to get through the TV show that we just watched? Now, at the end of the podcast, we'll rate the film based on the scale of 0 to 5, with 0 being an episode that you can watch stone cold sober, and 5 being the sort of the episode that makes you feel like you've been put under an evil spell after consuming too much Raven Blood Punch.
Raven Blood Punch.
I mean, that's something.
That's what we did. That's what we did.
Spellies.
Anyway.
Spells.
Tonight, we're continuing on with Widow's Bay, which follows the eerie events happening on a remote New England island. Now, episode 4, titled Beach Reads, focuses on Patricia as she inadvertently puts the residents under a demonic spell after finding a quote-unquote self-help book donated in a collection bin.
So please make sure to check out our social media pages, including Instagram, Threads, and TikTok, where you can find out about past and upcoming episodes, movie posters, trailer clips, and more.
And YouTube. I don't know why YouTube's not on there, but YouTube as well, where you can see our trailer reactions, which is really fun.
Right
so,
there.
It's Scrivener's error. Scrivener's error by the old script writer, but that's okay. We appreciate him nonetheless. So let's jump into season 1, episode 4. I think for me, episode 3 had kind of a downturn. So I was kind of really looking forward to episode 4 for something uppers. I'm not sure everybody felt the same way that I did, but I was kind of looking forward to this episode, and it immediately starts, and it's kind of clear that the focus is pulled away from Matthew Rhys and is on other characters. And I kind of was nervous, but it paid off. So let's go around the horn a little bit and talk about expectations and where the show, how's it progressing for you? Because everybody's different. So let's start with you, Jeremiah.
Right off the bat, I felt very creepy and very weird vibes on this episode, especially focusing on Patricia, which I was really excited for, because this is kind of our first episode focusing on a supporting character, like you said, not like Matthew. And I gotta say, man, like, it's like the ultimate buildup of an episode, and that's kind of the vibe I got during the course of watching this episode.
Like a slow burn, but with a
like
big reveal.
Very slow burn, but that something's off on this whole episode. It doesn't feel right. And that's what I loved.
It felt off, like awkward, like things were happening and you didn't quite put the pieces. Like I had trouble putting the pieces together on this episode a little bit. I don't know about.
I felt uncomfortable. Maybe that's what the best word is, uncomfortable, because I felt sad for Patricia. I felt like there was something weird about her situation, this whole book thing, which I'm like, okay, what is going on here? Why is she getting kind of focused by the island, I guess? Like why is she being like, handpicked by the island? So that was kind of the whole vibe I got during this episode.
Eddie.
For me, I was coming off of a high from episode 3. I enjoyed it quite well. For me, also, this was the first time I saw the timeline cross of like, hey, it's not just Tom that this shit's happening to. The town, something's happening to the town. And at the same time, Tom's going through something. Patricia's going through something. And it makes you think like, oh, this is opening up a different layer of the show. And I fucking enjoyed it. It was, for me, in a weird way, of The Last of Us, that one episode that everyone loves, that it had nothing to do with, I think it had nothing to do with like a lot of the series, but at the same time it did. And it was just a very unique episode in its own right. With Patricia,
you're talking about from Last of Us, the two characters that kind of fell in love, and it was a window episode as opposed to
it was a window episode, but it held its very own in its rightful way. It was like, fuck, that was a great episode,
greatest damn TV.
So Eddie, I have a question for you. So as in, if you recall episode 3 when he's having dinner at the cafe or with that restaurant with what I think is the woman who was trying to sit on his face. That woman. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think it was, but it does. Was that when he needed to get to cocktails on the beach? Was this cocktails on the beach? Was this the same party going on? So does it stretch all the way back into that episode? Is that what we're trying to understand?
The bachelor party was going to that party right there. So when she got back into the car, she's like, "Oh, this out was very humbling." She and her friends went to that party there. Yeah.
Does this mean that this show, or that it's not about one character experiencing, like, because I always thought it was from his perspective, he was experiencing all this shit to him, but it's not true. Everyone is experiencing all of the shit together as a group. So there could be side stories of what happened. Like we could find out what happened to the priest, and we can find out what happened, in a grander world. There's no time constraint on it. Is that kind of what? I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Are we wrong about that?
No, I think that's what we got.
I do. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's interesting, and Eddie mentioned it, is that for this one, it starts with 4 days earlier, and it leads us up to the CB radio call from the sheriff. This is all happening simultaneously. I don't think they're going to be doing this a whole ton. But what I thought was really interesting is that it felt off for us because we knew that some shit was going to hit the fan at the end of the episode, because we know that we're leading up to that CB radio call from the sheriff. And I think that was brilliant in the construction of the whole episode. I mean, I'll spoil it right now. I think that this is hands down the best episode so far. I love this episode. And not because it doesn't focus on Tom or because it focuses on Patricia, who I still don't like as a character, but because this was the first one that I just felt like this has some kind of purpose to it. And what I mean by that is it's influencing the way that we feel as the viewer. Episodes 1 through 3 or whatever, I feel like I was just still watching a show. With this one, I felt like I was fully immersed in it. And maybe it's because it was the question mark of like, what's actually going on. But this one definitely hit the right stride.
I have a tendency to think that your dislike of Patricia, perhaps as a character, is what makes her so compelling, because she's so not someone that I thought would be the focus of an episode. And because she's so, this is a small fucking town. This is like, how many people are in this town, Jeremiah? Like 110, 100,
maybe like, that, seriously. Yeah.
And everybody seems to hate her, talk behind her back. And she's, there's a couple of lines early on in the episode where she's like, I'm throwing this party. And it's like, you mean the government sanctioned, like, cocktail party? Like, it's not her party. Like, well, I'm the chair, and I'm, but it just feels
so funny, dude.
And then she subverts the birthday party at the Elks Club because they can only have 30 people, and like, I just feel like she
was a Michael Scott version of
it. Did feel like Michael Scott. Good job on that one. Yeah. It felt uncomfortable most of the time. Yeah.
And I think you're hitting it on the head, and then all of a sudden, halfway or 2/3 of the way through the episode, you've got the reveal. But I think once again, this show embraces the horror / comedy with the secretary. I can't remember her name, but she's sitting there smoking her cigarettes, and she's got concerns. Rosemary has her concerns. She seems to be the only one who's just like understanding everything that's going on in this town, and she's just like smoking her cigarette with concerns, and all of a sudden she's got, it's you have a big reveal. But highs and lows. I think you want to do highs and lows.
I love
high points, part. High points, low points.
No, I thought that was all high
part.
There's so many high points in this episode. Like, I just the fact that the boogeyman was a real situation, because you finally kind of get the understanding why people don't like her is because they think that she's just jumping on top of that whole situation and making her as a victim, where true people actually die from the boogeyman. So we know for a fact that the boogeyman did attack, or something attacked their friends when they were teenagers. So that's one thing. The second thing is that, well, my question is the island cursed by witches? Is she a witch?
No.
Is she being targeted as
and
a
I'm
witch?
going to tell you why. Because there is a major, I think, clue and it was shown in two different shots. And I think it's really, really important that we talk about this, is that in the book donation pile underneath the book that she gets is Stephen King's The Shining. Now, it doesn't actually show the title of it, but the cover is The Shining. So I think that what we're getting here is something much not witchy, but I think it is much more haunted and cursed, kind of like the Overlook Hotel in The Shining. I think that this is completely purposeful. I don't think it's just like, oh, I like The Shining, and The Shining is a great horror movie and horror book, so I'm just going to put it in there. I think that they gave us two direct mentions.
Could it be cursed by a witch? I guess would be Jeremiah's. Yeah,
maybe. But okay. So here's the thing: a witch would predicate that there is a single entity or a group of entities that is controlling everything, right? Where I think that an island curse, and yeah, go to Lost if you want, which is, kind of like, we still don't know what Black Smoke monster really is, and right, it's good and evil, and we got all that. It's bigger than a human or bigger than a single individual person or thing. I think that's something bigger. That's just my thought of it.
Well, here's another thing regarding to the Easter egg of The Shining, Stephen King, is that the previous episode we kind of had an Easter egg of the Blair Witch Project with that video presentation where the guy was just facing the wall in the corner, just standing there for almost 30 seconds. It just felt uncomfortable. But there's a lot of Easter eggs in this episode that it's coming out. A lot of people are saying that Patricia, in a lot of ways, completed a ritual without her actually even knowing for the island to keep going or something like that. Everything was actually done what it needed to be done for this ritual to be completed.
To perpetuate. So you're saying there's a force that basically caused Patricia to execute some sort of a thing that perpetuates the curse or whatever's going on the island.
Yes.
The idea of Rosemary just sitting back, just having a cigarette, and she's like, "You told me to not intervene." You
told me to be supportive.
You told me to be supportive, and the girl has a crown of this weird antlers, and she sees what she's been doing realistically.
Knight of Seven Kingdoms.
And the first image of that from the mirror was scary as fuck when they pan over and it was a purposeful shot, a very quick shot that the camera, and she's dancing and that awesome song, Living in the Night. I don't know what song that is, but it was a great song that Jeremy introduced us to.
Rhythm of the
Night. But then you saw the image of the mirror. I don't know if you guys saw that, where they went over.
It was
and
creepy.
The mouths are just open, and she's just in the middle dancing. And I was like, whoa, that's fucking scary as shit.
That's the first time where I'm like, okay, something is definitely happening here. Oh, fuck.
I love it because, so if you look in the mirror, in the mirror, every time they showed a quick glimpse of the mirror, you saw all of them just sitting there, black eyes and mouth open. And there was actually a couple times I noticed before, but I didn't go back and stop it because I was like, this is beautifully it's not Easter egg. It's beautifully hidden in there where you just feel ooh, something's off. It reminds me a little bit of the Tyler Durden, flash in and out.
Arrested Development season 3.
Right. So what I'm saying is I thought that this was so well made, so well paced. This is I'm going to say this is a damn good episode, because what it does is it holds off on the reveal, but it gives the reveal throughout without us realizing it, and probably is a much better episode on rewatch. As we're going through, I want to just ask you guys, as you were watching it, what was your thought as to what was going on? Why was everybody just, feeling her for the first time? Why was everybody on the supportive train after all of her quote unquote friends are talking shit behind her back? I kind of just want to get your impression, I guess, as you were watching it, what was going on. Did you see the Raven blood punch cocktail being part of it, or the book being this demonic thing? What did you guys think as you were watching it?
I knew something was up very quickly. The scene to me that gave up a lot was, it was 2 or 3 in the morning when the guy was watching video and she was still sitting on the bench, kind of going through the book. Clearly she was
nuts.
Yeah,
nuts.
she was
all night.
She was captured by the book. Yeah, so I was like, oh, there's something amok with these spells. There's something going on here that she, it's not just a party planning book, like, but the demonic part of it, I didn't see the effigy. I didn't see coming, the big pyre of burning, whatever. But I did get a sense that there was something wrong, and that people don't just turn in a small town to be on her side. Like, so it just. She played it so good too, because she was so awkward. Like, even in her triumph, she was awkward. It was just awful. She's just awful. Anyway, go ahead, Jeremiah or Eddie, whoever wants to take it next.
For a second there, I had like sympathy for her. I'm like, God damn, this is her life, Like, she thinks she's cool. She's trying to be with the crowd. She's trying to be one of the cool people and everything, and it just feels uncomfortable. But for whatever reason, I thought she was going to kill everyone. Like, I thought she was going to do like some like
Carrie or something.
Some Kool-Aid.
You're going to drink the juice here. The Kool-Aid.
She did it accidentally, but she was like,
thought it was going to be.
She's like, fuck it. Like, I don't like them anyways. I do.
I can't tell you how terrified I was.
Out of that kitchen and looking around, everybody's just dead on the floor, and she'd be like, "Oh,
that's what I thought. That's what I thought." Yeah. When you see everyone's reflection as like the whole, like their mouth open, I'm like, oh, they're all dead. Mm-hmm. Oh shit. So that was my first kind of like thought process. And then when the officer comes in and literally goes, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, oh shit. She probably cut off her hand, or she probably did some weird, crazy shit. And I was terrified. This is the part where I'm like, I don't want to see the outcome of this shit, you know? And thankfully, it was just like PG-13, where she just made it like a crown of thorns on her head or some shit like that. With oh my god,
PG you're watching, but that shit voodoo is my biggest fear. Like, that's a fucking serious shit right there.
I literally thought it was gonna be like her hair scalped or something, and just I went that way.
Filled with blood too. So it was obviously animal blood or pigeon blood or raven blood, something type of blood.
Yeah. Rosemary was just looking at her, just smoking a cigarette, just like, stress smoking. And she's just like, I really think that you should just reconsider this.
I mean, just the words she used were so mundane. I have concerns. Yes. I have concerns. Like, not fucking what is going on in this goddamn town where this woman is possessed by a witch and she's killing everybody. I don't know if that's the truth. But I'm like, I'm looking at her as a character going, she's the only one seeing through this. And I have a suspicion about Rosemary, just so you all know. I want to plant that seed here. I have a suspicion about her. I'm wondering if she's not nefariously behind a lot of this shit. So
I would like to see it. Yeah, I like that idea.
That's a great rabbit hole to go through, because I think she's one of the best characters in this series. I really hope that we get a side story of her experience or whatever she's done in the past, because it's so interesting. But I'm kind of with you on that, Sean. Like, she knows so much more than than we are actually kind of understanding here. Mm-hmm. Like, she's our guide.
She's a little bit of our Sherpa. I agree with that. So getting back to the party, did you see it coming, Eddie? I know Brandon asked that question. I know you didn't get a chance to answer.
It seemed like that book was telling Patricia what she wanted to hear, what she wanted to like. So it definitely, the book shows what this is the witch's book. I'm assuming that it attaches somebody to their weakness and what they're missing in their life. The party I saw coming, after her reading this book, was like how to make a fancy party, and I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. How are we gonna spin this off? And the way they did it was just like, oh my goodness, like she was doing a voodoo spell without knowing it. And is that interesting? Is that an attack on how strong somebody in the background is controlling this voodoo spell book, who created it? It could latch on to somebody who's hurting inside with something.
Are you seeing the island kind of knows everyone's deep
it's like sphere
insecurities, their fear, and it feeds off that fear?
Yes.
Holy shit. So the island itself is like it's its own entity, right?
That's what I was kind of thinking about is, okay, and this, Brandon kind of triggered me, because I've had this thought a couple of times of what is causing this, like, the possession of the island. Like, what's going on here? And the first thing I think about is they keep saying it's a New England town. They keep, like, they've said that a couple of times, like, this happens in Martha's Vineyard. Like, this is the area. This is, this is what happens. And I'm like, how close is that to the Salem witch trials? Were there witches burned and killed in this town? Like, did we have like some pyre where they burned a bunch of witches on this beach and they're trying to like release them from the fire? Like that was my mind instantly went to witches. And then Brandon says that, I didn't want to bring it up, but Brandon kind of punched it up there. And I'm like, man, it really feels like there's something going on where maybe it's witches. Maybe it's like the Salem witch trials. Maybe it's like witches in the New England area that escaped, or that cursed the land. I don't know, something like that. That's what it kind of made me set my mind in that direction. Let's put it that way.
Well, as the resident New England expert on our podcast, I'm going to tell you that I think that Massachusetts has Cape Cod, and it has both Cape Cod and Salem, and I think that that's a direct reference to it. Now, one of the things that I think is really interesting is I'm going to go down my literary rabbit hole with you guys, is that Eddie, I loved this idea that the town is aware, right? That the town itself is a living, breathing creature, and it's influencing based off of the character's own personal regrets, possibilities, happinesses, joys, fears, all that other stuff. And one of the best books that I can recommend to anybody is a book called Solaris by Stanislaw Lem, which is about a planet that basically does that exact same thing to a crew of astronauts, where they basically are all controlled by the planet and shown the things that they most fear in the world. And so it's this way of controlling them through fear. And I think that might be something that we're kind of getting at here. To kind of go back to and just kind of answer my question that I was thinking as I was watching this is, I thought that the Shining book reference was to get us in the mindset of Stephen King, which then kind of led me to thinking that this is going to be a Carrie moment, that basically the book was controlling her, not through a demonic way, not that it was like literally this book of shadows or anything like that, but instead that she was going to walk out, and the book was going to, because the book was like, serve the punch now. And that she was going to either take the punch and like drown herself so it looks like the blood pouring down, or she was going to try to start doing like a mass murder kind of thing. So I thought that that's where it was going. So my whole mindset was on that she was obviously not going to be successful because she's the main character, but that she was going to attack them, and then she was going to be stopped in the process. So when it came down to the zombification, dude, I thought that was badass.
What? That is fucking 100% accurate with the whole Carrie situation. Mm-hmm. She's not the popularest person in town. She's looked at as a fucking like a piece of shit. This is her one moment to shine, and it does have the whole Carrie vibe to it.
On it. Yeah,
motherfucker! Oh my gosh!
But see,
Brandon, you're a detective.
My mind went straight to Harry Potter and the Horcrux in the diary. Spoiler alert! That Tom Riddle's soul lived in the diary, like that she's releasing the witches from like a grimoire. Like that's where my brain went too. Like, so
that's a good one.
There's a lot. There's a lot of shit going on. Like, I think it's pretty clear that whatever's on the island has a couple of purposes. The first is whatever force or whatever we want to call it, it wants to keep the people who are born on the island or whoever has ties to the island on the island. Like, it doesn't want you to leave. It really doesn't want you to leave. And then secondarily, it doesn't necessarily want to kill you because it hasn't really killed more than a couple of people. It killed the young guy who aged poorly, and it killed. I don't think it killed anybody else so far. So it's not really in a murdering frenzy.
It's a sacrifice. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. It's taking these people for a part of the ritual of the sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like
I like that.
The ending of the show, right?
We need to talk about the ending of the episode. Yes.
Yeah, the ending of the episode when we find out that
Bryce,
the priest, I think his name is Bryce. What if it was a ritual that it was his sacrifice as a final completion of the ritual that Patricia might have kind of accidentally set off or something.
I mean, that's fantastic because if you go back to it, he started going crazy 4 days ago. So if you go back to episode 3, the priest started going crazy at the beginning of that episode, which is actually the beginning of this episode as well. And that's what the timeline fucking fits on that one. So that's super interesting that the priest could be, his death could be the result of Patricia's, interaction with the diary or interaction with the book or whatever you want to call it, the grimoire.
Yeah. So one thing that I thought was really, really interesting, and I thought that this was really, really interesting, is the fact that she breaks the curse on her own, right? She becomes self-aware. She tries to throw the book into the pyre.
I like that.
Obviously, she's not allowed to burn the book, and I thought that was a really cool thing. But a couple things happened.
She was willing to sacrifice her hand. She's like, fuck it,
but
my
here's
hand.
What's weird.
Like, boom, in it.
Here's what's weird, and this is the thing that I think is really, really interesting, and I want to see what your interpretation is of this, is that she doesn't burn her hand. She's holding the book in the flames, and yet her hand is completely fine. It doesn't. She doesn't have any injuries,
I think.
I almost feel like it's an illusion that she even has the book in her hand. It's more like she just broke that spell, but the book is still alive.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me of that fantastic film, Hocus Pocus 2.
Get the fuck out of here with that. Great. Come on, dude.
I thought that somebody was going to come up with as a quote. I think it's Christian Clemens, who we haven't really gotten to see yet. I'm excited to see him come into the show. One of my favorite actors, a little bit part actor of all time. But he's the one who they were in the water and they're all doing the possessed thing, walking into the water toward the pyre, and all of a sudden the spell breaks and he goes, "What the shit?" Like what the hell's going on? Like in the middle of the.
You talking about
DJ?
The doctor?
Is he the DJ?
Yeah. No, he's not the DJ. No. It was.
Oh. He's the doctor of the town.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was Christian Clemens. Okay. He was in Boston Legal forever. He's a good actor, but he's like in the middle of the water and it breaks and he looks around like, what, where am I? Like, what the hell just happened? And it was one of the, once again, this show is balancing. And this is why I think that I can stomach the show, because I'm not a horror fan, as we know from 7 years now on the podcast. I fucking hate horror. However, this has the element of funny that every time it gets super serious, it just kind of bounces a little bit and it creates kind of a uncomfortable chuckle inside of you, where it's like, oh, I can deal with this horror because I can chuckle a little bit. And so I do think that the show does that quite beautifully.
Do you think we will have a throwback episode of New England? Like what caused this? What caused this? I don't know, like this curse to the island,
like the witch burning. Like, will we see the witches? Will we see the curse? Yeah.
Do you think that, or yes?
I know for a fact. I know for 100% fact. 100%. Ready? In case you haven't heard, listeners, that Widow's Bay has been renewed for a second season, and I'm going to tell you right now, season 2, I'm predicting it, is going to start out in the olden days. It's going to be just like one of the worst movies ever made, which is Hocus Pocus 1, not to be confused with number 2, where you have it set in that time. And I'm going to say we're going to have 5 minutes, and it's going to start there.
And just like normal, Brandon, you're completely wrong.
I bet you money.
Send your complaints, please.
Gentlemen's bet of $1.
CC Brandon, please. Please
Sean,
CC Brandon.
Gentlemen's bet of $1 on publicly made.
I will definitely gentleman's bet that, but I will raise you $1, and I will say that because, and I know this for a fact, that they did not know that they were going to get renewed, they have some sort of explanation / open-ended resolution in the end of the show, because I heard an interview with Matthew, and he was talking about how if they don't get picked up for a second season, Rhys, if they don't get picked up for a second season, you will have some explanation. Even if it's not a full explanation, you will have something. So I do think that we're going to get some, at least, beginning of a solution. I think that's the way to kind of explain it.
I like the history of this. I want to find out. Like, I would like to.
We're going to
go so much different stories, different trails on this one.
I'm winning $1.
I hate to say this, but this episode was the turning point for like me going, or for a lot of people, and including myself, going like, we got something here. You have opened up this Pandora's box of whatever you're going to be putting out for this series. Okay, you got us here. So, I mean, I have no negatives. Eddie, if you have a negative, please let it out. Sean, if you have a negative,
actually,
let it out, man.
I would like to know more of why she's the black sheep so much. Like maybe, I don't know, like just, I feel like that's a very loose because of what happened living this shit life for the past 30 years. I would assume she's like mid-40s, somewhere in mid-40s. Yeah. So we're talking about 30 years of her just being a fucking sheep goat, and no one wants to hang out with her. No one wants to do anything.
Pariah. She is a pariah.
Yeah, and I would like to know a little bit more.
Well, everyone thinks that she's a liar.
So there's one person at the party that wants to talk with her. That was kind of
she was new,
mingling with her.
Yeah, she was new to the town.
The house party.
Yeah.
So she is somebody who is.
She was super nice.
Which is, but here's something interesting we do kind of need to mention is the fact that, like Tom, this woman is not an original townsperson like basically everybody else, right? So that means that there are some people on the island who maybe are going to be affected by the island a little bit differently. But no, Ed, I think that they do actually a decent job of explaining that she's the type of person in other people's eyes that she always has to one up, right? So if somebody tells you that they caught a fish that was 20 pounds, she's like, well, I caught one that's 30 pounds. And not only that, but what bothers the group of women is that, no, well, hold on, Sean, is that she, they think that she's doing this to all of this, woman's, I forget her name, but the woman's friends, right? Her friends were the ones that were targeted and her friends were the ones that were killed. And so it's almost like basically making a profit off of somebody else's death. And I think that's a justifiable reason to hate somebody if there's truth to it. However, I don't think there's truth to it. I think that Patricia actually was hiding under a bed, that she actually did get away from it. I do think that we're going to have at some point in season 1 or season 2 a flashback to show that she's under the bed as a kid and she's freaked out.
And we'll get an idea that she's actually been targeted by the island this whole time.
Yeah.
That she's been a fucking
But she's been saved for a reason.
All right, Jeremiah, bring us in.
And that brings us to the end of review, listeners. Now, Mr. Wick, can you please provide our scale so each of us can give us
0, the perfect episode; 1, the feel good first cocktail; 2, a happy buzz; 3, you're gonna Uber lifting home; 4, rough morning walk of shame; 5, blackout, shit face, spring break drunk.
Let's do it.
All right, gentlemen. 3, 2, 1. Oh, wow. Okay. I can't. Okay. Okay. Ed, why don't you start us off?
All right. So by far, every episode's getting better. I feel like it's definitely, it's kicking up. I like that we're getting more from the town's people outside of Matthew. Which I love that character, but overall it's just like, this is what I kind of want. I want, there's so much that you could go possibilities, and this was the opening of that. And then technically they met at the end of the episode, and Tom's like, hop in, I think you could be helpful. And it was like, oh shit, it actually does line up pretty well. And it was very on point. I mean, there's little things that I felt like I didn't know enough information, but I enjoyed Patricia so much in this whole episode of how to use Rosemary and even her office mates to pretty much like, hey, we're making this fucking party great. And she sent out 200 invites per person with clicking that fucking resend button. And it was cool. It was cute. I would like to know her backstory a little bit more on the beforehand of like the opening credit scene was how she was sitting in is she the owner of the bookstore, or is she just sitting there and she's like running it? I was a little confused of that. There's just little things here, nits and crannies. It's definitely getting better. The tempo is amazing. They're adding some depth into these characters, and that's why I gave this a 0.49. This is just right below a fucking shot. I feel like this is knocking on that door. This show's becoming really, really good. Let's go follow up with somebody, volunteer. So I don't want to pitch.
I'll go because I know you guys are both on.
All right, Brandon or Sean. Sean,
I'm saving myself for later.
Sean.
Yeah, I'm saving myself.
Jeez.
Yeah. So
you've been doing that for a while.
One of the things that I thought was totally, it could have gone the other way, and I would not have liked this episode, is if Jeremiah's prediction would have come true and they would have all died. Like all the townspeople would have essentially, died in either the party or in the water. And this is where the comedy aspect of the show, I think, really shines through, and it makes the episode not just fun, but the show perpetuate. If you just kill people willy-nilly, it kind of gets you where it's like, okay, who's going to die this week? Like, I don't like that type of show. I think this show is more of a collaborative, shit's happening to everybody. It's not necessarily killing them. So that being said, I really loved when she came out of her trance or whatever we want to call it, and the way that she runs around trying to get people to change, and then she finally goes after the pyre. I think she's funny. It was funny to me, and I think that this episode really starts changing the tone of the show from utterly scary, which I thought last episode was kind of too scary, too over the top. And this one was more horror comedy. I like this, but I like this one better. I like this episode much better. I think this is the best episode that we've seen so far. So I give this episode a 0.25. That's a shot. No, it's half a shot. It's the best episode so far by a long shot, and this show is really taking off for me. I really am enjoying it.
Honestly, dude, this is one of those episodes that kind of found its place, and you go, yeah, guess what? This is the year of Widow's Bay. Like, this episode right here is a part of pulp culture now and everything like that. It's amazing when something like that happens on a series. You're just like, okay, that's the turning point right there. This felt creepy, eerie. It didn't feel right. And I love every single minute of it because rewatching it over again, I saw a whole nother episode, a whole nother series. This show found its place. And this is the reason why this episode made this series or made this show the most talked about episode of the year so far. So it's a fucking 0. And I'm excited for it because it's a game changer for this series, but it's also a game changer for just pop culture in general. So. Brandon.
Yeah. So,
please,
Sean, I got to be honest, buddy. There's very little time in our relationship and friendship where you're right. But this is one of the times where you're right. You are right. This is the best episode of the season so far and series. Listen, this is, you asked if there's anything bad about this episode. And the answer is yes, there is one thing bad. That of all the episodes that we've watched, of all these TV shows that we've struggled through, and I'm talking to you, Last of Us, this is quality. I could have happily had another hour of this episode and just been like riveted. I thought that this is the type of episode that a show strives for and rarely is able to pull off. And it's because, like I said earlier, and like Jeremiah just said, it influenced us as the viewer. We weren't just watching this episode. We were trying to figure our way through it. It was a mystery, but it was a mystery with just enough breadcrumbs that we could start to follow that trail. But then we had no idea where that trail was actually ultimately leading to. I thought the pacing was fantastic. My problem with Patricia has actually been not so much the character, but the acting. And I'm not saying she's a bad actress, but she's overplayed it, I thought. And I want to just eat those words because this episode, no, Jared, I'm saying I was wrong. This episode showed that she is playing this character perfectly. I could rant, yes. I could rave about this episode. And I'm not just jumping on the bandwagon, Jer. I think that this was absolute magic. This is a 0 for me. Listen, I'm going to embrace this 0, and I'm going to talk to you guys all about this next week when we get to episode 5. But this is a 0, happily a 0.
All right, when you take those 4 scores and divide by 4, what does episode 4 of Widow's Bay get an average rating of there, Eddie? Does he not hear me?
Eddie, does not know that Eddie, you're on mute. That's the reason why we can't hear you.
Fun. Yes. So it's Wick also by the chance asshole, okay? And that's John Wick.
I'm the asshole for putting yourself mute, okay?
It gives us saying hey, can you hear me? You guys can hear me. I'm just doing the score. 0.185. A 0.185.
I feel like I'm going to win this one. That is our number 1 episode of this show.
This is number 1 for sure.
Yeah. I'm not even going to try. I mean, I'm not even going to try on that one.
Too hard.
Jeremiah, my question is where did we go from the overall show score. Now with this episode integrated, where is our overall episode and where does it relate to some of the other shows that we've done?
Well, before we actually scored for this episode, our series average was at a 1.447. We are now at a series average of a 1.131. It's kicking
just
butt.
one episode,
it's kicking
but
butt.
damn it, it's a good episode, Sean.
It's coming into the top 5 of our series. I mean, Stranger Things are like almost like 1 and 2 right there, right?
What was Stranger Things 4? What did that end up being?
Oh, it's a 0.527. This show is not going to even come near that at all. All right. That's like near perfect stuff right there.
In all fairness, that was 6-7 years in the making and emotional. And this show kind of came out of left field. I almost feel like if we're going to relate this show to anything, it should be more like Wednesday, where you didn't really know what to expect and you're going into it blind, and all of a sudden, it just happens upon you.
It is. When you think about this series, you think about Wednesday, where it just comes out of left field, like you're not expecting it to be this type of a culture type of a show. It literally comes out of left field, and that's a cool thing right there.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I will say this: I think the episode is where it should be, so it's very exciting. And Jeremiah, thank you for pushing this show particularly, because I do feel like it is on the lips of every single person in social media, in TV right now. Everybody's talking about this show. Everybody's talking about the scariness and the. There's a ton of memes coming out of it. There's a ton of press coming out of it. So
it's all good.
With that said, we're excited to bring you another season of 3.5 Gentlemen. With season 7, we're making a concerted effort to grow our social media presence, and boy, has it grown. Thank you so much, everybody who's gone to our YouTube channel, liked and subscribed, who's liked us on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at the Gentleman Podcast. Thank you so much, and we've seen our viewership grow week after week after week. Please tell 10 people in your life, 10 people about our podcast, and watch this thing grow. We got some good stuff coming up as we enter the middle of the year through the summer blockbusters. So tune in and enjoy. And with that, we say cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, yo. It's the rhythm of the night.
You say